Day after day alone on a hill, the man with the foolish grin is keeping perfectly still. But nobody wants to know him. They can't see that he's just a fool. And he never gives an answer. But the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, and the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter, deep from in the bowels of our underground lair, in the soon-to-be 51st state of Libertania. Here we are.
Do I get to be the governor of that state at least?
Well, at least the assistant.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to battle it out.
I'd rather just be dictator. I'd rather just be dictator than have to worry about, we already have one in Minnesota. Why bother?
I was going to say you could switch your party affiliation to Democrat and you'd fit right in.
I don't know. I'd be uncomfortable being it. I think I would I would get tired of it after a couple of weeks.
I don't know.
You always remember there's no such thing as an ex-king.
Yes.
Or an ex-dictator, only a dead one.
Oh, boy.
Well, just remember. Think about it throughout history. You're either in exile.
Yeah.
Or you're,
Well, and that's true. There are those who would go into exile. Idi Amin went into exile, didn't
Napoleon.
he? Yeah.
Kaiser Wilhelm.
Yeah.
You don't retire if you're an ex-king.
No, that's true. That's true.
They don't all become Nicholas II.
You don't put your son on the throne and then sit back on the veranda with a chair sunning yourself.
Give him a little advice here and there. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
By the way, Jay,
yes.
That song is extremely familiar.
Okay.
And I'm thinking.
Okay.
Now, let me ask a question here. Small hint time.
Okay.
Have we had this group before? Have we done a song from this group before?
Yeah.
Then it's the Beatles.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so
the Beatles, The Fool on the Hill.
It was coming to me, and I'm like, let me see if that's like the fifth Beatles song we've done.
Maybe
in 4+ years.
With all of their hundreds of songs.
Yeah, they got like 10.
We won't run out.
They got like 10.
Like 10 songs,
something like that.
Oh boy. Yeah.
They were only around for like 5 years, right? They can't have that.
They weren't around that long, yeah, for as many. But back then, bands would put out albums like every 6 months.
Right. It's not once every 3 years.
Yeah,
I know. It's
exactly.
Well, let me see. Their last, I might know this. Their last, what you call then an album or a record.
Yes.
Was Abbey Road, right? When they were all together. That was like 1970, 71-ish.
It gets complicated. The last one they recorded
you had Ono Yoko that broke them up, right?
Right. Well, they released Abbey Road. They recorded Abbey Road last, but I think they released Let It Be after Abbey Road. Like they recorded it before but held on to it. It was... I'm trying to remember how it went. I read this awesome
book. Maybe the record company
on the Beatles by Jeff Emmerich, who did all of their, almost all of their engineering. And there's some great stories in there, and things I didn't know about the Beatles at all. But back then, everything was on these reel-to-reel tapes, and if you were going to go over the amount of tracks available on a reel-to-reel tape, you had to slave them together so that you had. Because everything is based on the number of tracks you have. Now that you do digital recording, you can have as many tracks as you want. But back then, you were only allowed to have so many tracks because there's only so much room on a 2-inch tape, these big spools of tape, to be able to get the different tracks. And so you could only put so many. And so you would have to line them up. You'd have to do the recording on more than one and then kind of line them up. And it's amazing if you've never watched the process. Like if they decide that they want to make a splice in a tape, I would be super nervous because they actually cut a section out with a razor and then tape it back together. But the tape moves so fast, you don't even know that it's happening. I've been able to record on 2-inch a couple of times, but the Beatles, it was awesome to read this book because the later they got in their career, the more they were looking to do different things, and expand.
Why
their
did
horizons.
they break up though? In the end, what happened? Let me just say this: all successful bands go through this.
Yeah.
They all break up and get back together, or one tries to be name a band that hasn't happened to. It just does. The one guy wants to stop touring because he's got a family. The next person wants a solo career. I mean, it's hard to keep 4, 5, 6 guys or whatever in a straight line forever. They break up over money. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but what in the end broke them up? Besides Yokozuna, what was the other? What was the other
she
thing?
did, have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And I just think, you get big egos when you were as with Paul and John. You're two of the best and biggest songwriters in the world, and you
I
start to
I
get,
agree with that.
a big hit.
They wrote
about
most
it a little
of-
bit, Yeah, they wrote most of it. George was also a really good songwriter, and he wasn't getting much space in the Beatles albums to be able to do much of anything.
Oh.
I mean, you think about like one of my favorite Beatles songs off of Abbey Road, and that was George Harrison that wrote that. Well, he didn't get much room, but
George will give you one song every 5 albums.
where are you going to put that? And that's the thing. Where are you going to put that when you have Paul and John writing so much good material?
Okay, why didn't Paul, John, and George all get together and write them all then? Why didn't they invite him in and say, look, you can contribute to this? Let's the 3 of us put our heads together and be even better. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's like it's kind of like watching like a baseball team.
Right.
That's great, and all of a sudden a bunch of guys become free agents, and it's like when you win the championship, it's all about we.
Yeah.
After you've won it, it's all about me. And like bands are kind of the same way. Once they become successful, then it all becomes about, one, like I said, one person wants to tour every waking minute. One person now wants to produce, and somebody wants to act, and somebody, it's like, I understand so many doors get open once you're successful, but whose responsibility is it to bring the band together and say, hey, we're the greatest band ever, ever. 50 years later, they're still the best ever, probably.
Yeah.
Or, it's debatable, but
it's debatable.
They're up there.
Absolutely.
And they had such a short window where they were, it was like 64 to 71 or something. And, so it's just kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm one who didn't experience music in that time. I only read about it. I only listen to it, years and years later. And it's just kind of sad that so much talent, but then again, it's also, they never didn't have a long slide down either.
It's success. It was Yoko Ono. It was drugs. It was, it was a lot of different things.
Were they big drug guys? I didn't. Were they?
For a while, I think.
I'm sure they all were then.
John kind of had a sharp tongue, and so I'm sure, that didn't help, and I'm sure Ringo wanted to write more music, but after Yellow Submarine, who wants more of that?
I don't mind it.
I don't mind it, but it's not their best work.
No, it's not.
It's better than.
It's definitely
than some
number.
things,
It's definitely number like 58 out of 62. It's definitely there. But because it's the Beatles, I don't fast forward it on.
Right. It's better than what is it? Revolution #9 off the White Album, where it just number 9, number 9, number 9.
Well, it's better than lip syncing Milli Vanilli or blasting Run DMC. So I guess I can take that. Anyway, so roundabout way to get through there, but I really enjoy when VH1 had like Behind the Music, and when you had things like that. I always enjoyed watching them, even if I didn't love the music.
Yeah.
I love the story
Right.
of how the garage band started, and they got turned down by this record label, and this idiot told them they'd never be anything. And
Yeah.
have you heard the story of Garth Brooks and how he got a record deal?
No, I don't think I did.
I'll tell it really quickly.
Okay.
Garth had gone to, he's from Oklahoma, and he had gone to Tennessee to Nashville. And he got there were 7 major labels there, and all of them turned him down. So then he played at some cafe I don't know the details, but he tells the story in his. He has like a Netflix thing out there, which is really good, like a 3-part. Maybe it's Netflix, like it's one of those Hulu's or one of those.
Okay.
And he ends up. There's a guy playing before him who doesn't show up. So the guy running the thing came up to Garth and his group and said, "Hey, I got a crowd here. You guys mind going on right now?" And Garth's like, they weren't ready. They were all. I don't even know if they were all there yet. And so he just goes on and plays. And one of the guys who is in the audience is some guy from one of the record labels that turned him down, and he was there to see the guy who didn't show up.
Oh.
But he saw Garth live performing, not in a studio, where I'm sure he was nervous and blah, blah, blah. He saw him playing in front of a crowd and just said, this guy's got, that we just turned down 2 weeks ago, has got some potential. And that's how he got in with the record company.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that's the stories I love hearing. So it's kind of, neither here nor there. And we're not here to discuss music today, Jay, but it is a good segue.
It is. Yes, I enjoy discussing music. That's fun for me.
I hear you there. It is, like I say, it is interesting. Even bands I don't care for, I love hearing their story, unless it's Mo Money or whoever else out there I don't care about. But I don't even know if that's true. By the way, pardon my French there with my hiccups, but here's a story.
Yes.
In our opening here from Channel 5. This is some hard-hitting reporting from KSTP, about as hard-hitting as you'll find. There's another little story I'm going to mention from NPR here that was just broken a day or two ago. But the Pollution Control Agency is trying to force car dealers to sell electric cars, to put aside X amount of space at their lots to sell electric cars. California happens to have this mandate, and the Pollution Control Agency is in the process of adopting these standards, despite tremendous opposition from legislators, from car dealers, and I don't understand how they can do this without legislation.
Right.
Now, we all know that certain politicians don't care whether a law is passed or not. They don't care how it gets there. The commissioner, MPCA, Laura Bishop, testified in front of a Senate committee. I don't know which committee it was. Doesn't matter. Saying, quote, "Nobody's mandating or pushing that anyone buy an electric vehicle." Well, that's interesting. So you're going to demand that the shelf, say you're walking in on a shelf, okay, and there's 100 cars and 20 of them are electric. But you're going to demand that 20 of them be electric, but you're not demanding anybody, you're not pushing anybody to buy it, really?
Right.
Well, what happens if they don't sell them then? Don't you have a slight problem?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean,
what dealer is going to want to buy something that nobody, or, to have in their inventory that nobody is going to come and buy from them?
Yeah, I mean, why can't, let me ask a bigger question. Why can't green ideas work in the marketplace? We're told, you and I are told every day that everybody wants to go green. Everybody cares about the dying wildebeests,
right,
and the temperature that's gone up 0.5 degree in the last century. I mean, we have to do this to save us all. That's what we're told. And if you look at the way people buy, they do not do that. They don't.
No, unless your name is Tesla. They're pretty popular. But outside of that, a lot of that is the cool features in the Tesla.
A lot of that, I hate to say, is government subsidies still.
Yeah.
I mean, a solar panel, 2/3 of the cost of a solar panel are paid for by the government. Why do you think Walmart uses them? Because we're paying for Walmart to do it. And it's funny how the same politicians who complain about corporate welfare are all fine with it if it's something they like.
Of course.
Bernie Sanders is Mr. Anti-Corporate, unless you're selling solar panels or electric cars, then it's okay.
Right.
If you're one of his friends, it's all right.
Yeah, if you're John Kerry, nobody should be flying. Well, except for me, because I'm out saving the world. I got to get around.
We need to find a way to get around. Oh, goodness gracious.
I need to fly to get my award because I am saving the world.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have Zoom at his house or something. Got to get Heinz Windows 95. Yeah. The new rules would require auto dealers to carry a certain number of low-emission or zero-emission electric vehicles starting in 2025. If we don't put if we don't put the state in a place where we can compete and have these cars move forward, we're not going to be able to compete with other states, said Senator Patricia Ray Torres. What?
Why do we need to compete with other states? Like somebody from Ohio is going to come here to buy a car?
Well,
why do we need to compete with other states?
That whole sentence makes...
That's stupid. Somebody from Hudson, Wisconsin might come here to buy a car.
No, if anything, we'll go over there to buy cigarettes. If anything. Opponents in the Minnesota legislature in the audio industry say it will significantly increase the cost of all vehicles, which is right. If you're going to take 100 cars, push them down to 80, and those are the cars people want, what does it do? It artificially drives up the price
Absolutely.
of those.
Scarcity.
I mean, it's just simple economics, Miss Ray Torres. Maybe you could learn that. Go back to first grade and learn that. What I'm trying to figure out is if there's no requirement to buy, why don't we just let demand run the market? Said Senator David, oh boy. He's from Jism.
Yes, this is your buddy.
Oh, he's one of our friends who is a Democrat when they have the majority.
Yep.
He's an independent when they have the minority.
Yes.
I agree with what he says here, but what is his name? Macaroni?
Tomasoni?
Whatever you just said.
Tomasoni.
Yeah, something like that. You say Tomasoni, I say
Tomasoni. Hey.
Yo, little more Parmesan on that. The MPCA said demand will increase if more electric and low emission vehicles are made available. I thought it wasn't about getting people to buy them. Did they just say that?
You know, I would like to see, at the places that sell these, are there any on the lot?
No, you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see one of these damn stations actually have a car there one time. There's a quick trip by where I work.
Yeah.
I go by there twice a day at least, and I have never seen a vehicle there charging.
No.
I've seen, you know what I've seen? I've seen big trucks parked there.
Never seen them at Hy-Vee either. You know?
Where are these things?
But this is what I'm talking about. You go to the lots that sell these, if they're saying that there is scarcity and that people are not getting the electric vehicles that they're demanding, that means there should be none in the lots. They're back ordered, they're on demand, and they can't get them. That is not the case.
I know it's
again, it is a solution in search of a problem.
Well, I mean, again, it's trying to use the law to get people to change their behavior. And here's the thing. If it starts at 1%, 5%, 10%, you know what it's going to do.
Yeah.
It's go up. But I mean, again, why can the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency do this? Who authorizes them to demand that a private business sells stuff they like?
Right. Well, I find it interesting in here what the private businesses are saying. If you go down and talk to the guy, Scott Lambert from the Minnesota Auto Dealers Association, he says that what will happen is manufacturers will put several thousand more vehicles on our lots that we don't have a market for. And then further down, the demand in Minnesota is quite low. So they think by putting more of these into the lot, that's going to drive the demand for them. That's not how economics works.
Yeah.
You don't increase the supply to increase the demand.
No, supply follows demand.
Yes.
Supply always follows demand. There's a new product on the market. They test it.
Yep.
See how it does. And then when people start to buy more, they start to make more.
Yes.
It's like remember the first iPhones when they first came out and they were like $1 million?
Yep.
Okay. Who bought those? Okay, a couple of rich guys.
Right.
Then as soon as they, ramp people wanted them. It's like the Model T. They found a way to make it cheaper and mass produce them.
Yeah.
They came way down, and the same thing will happen if electric. You know what? They've been the electric. Remember, I don't remember this but I read history. Go back to the gas shortages of the 1970s.
Yes.
Okay, during the Yom Kippur War and all that, and you'll see that's when the electric vehicle was supposedly going to revolutionize cars.
Yes.
The government paid for it, subsidizes it. States did the same thing.
Yeah.
It's now 2021, and what are we driving?
Yep.
Granted, we're driving better cars, more fuel efficient cars, safer cars. That's all true, but we never fundamentally changed what we wanted as customers.
No. Remember when the Chevy Volts came out and they were starting on fire all over the place?
I'll tell you what, look, let me tell you something. I'm all for innovation.
Absolutely.
If somebody can figure out how to sell, and again, another thing is size. I mean, you look at some of these cars, it's like, look, that won't tow my boat, okay? If I got 3 kids, I can't put them into a frickin' Geo Metro. Don't you understand that? I mean, a Geo Metro is a dumb example, but that's an old small car. But it's like, you also have to make things practical for people and for families too. I mean, or either they got to have 4 of these, or they can buy one or 2, family size, Suburbans or whatever. So I mean, what I don't understand is how do these government agencies have the power to, if I'm in the legislature, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah. Well, you push these electric cars, and maybe that will drive the demand for abortions as well, because there's not enough room to have kids in the car.
Oh, gee. What a sick bastard.
Sorry, that's just
well,
little Democrat thinking for you.
It does happen. I mean, I do see weird things in parking lots, but anyhow, yeah.
Oh, boy.
By the way, you know what I'm still freaked out to this day by? Remote start. I'm walking by a car and all of a sudden it starts and there's nobody in it. I think it's like Herbie or something every time. Like, what the hell? I mean, just one little strange side note. By the way, that's at kstp.com.
Yes.
If you want to check out that article. NPR occasionally gets something right, occasionally breaks a story, but this story proves they do it by accident. I don't know how to say her last name. Catherine Rickard from NPR wrote a tweet yesterday. That she wasn't aware of this. Okay. And you can see all the investigation she's done or plans on doing.
Yes.
Dan Feehan, do you know who he is?
I've heard the name.
Okay, he ran against Jim Hagedorn down in the first.
Yeah. Okay.
Is running a company called Volt. He's running Volt Health National Vaccine Program. I saw him on the news. Volt has been doing saliva testing in Minnesota and is now taking over a vaccine operations site. Here's the truth.
Yes.
Volt is getting no bid contracts to do a lot of this stuff.
Of course they are.
They hire Feehan, of course, who's a DFL hotshot, and they get no bid contracts from a DFL administration.
Yes.
Okay. The press shrugs their shoulders at it, doesn't do anything, but they report it by accident. I mean, do you think that's the take she thought people were going to have when that story came out here?
No.
So they basically hire a lobbyist, sell it, get a no-bid contract from his friends, but they're doing the vaccine, so it's God's work, Jay.
Right.
I mean, time to review some of hey, Republicans in the Senate, time to maybe take a look at that. Maybe you'll get around to it in 2071 or something like that.
Yeah.
No confidence that that'll happen. I think Volt will get as many contracts as they want to forever.
Yeah.
So
that's what happens when you're doing God's work.
But what I love is the accidental journalism. It totally didn't mean.
It's like, I stepped in that, didn't I?
Whoops.
Anybody got a paper towel?
Yeah. Funny. All right.
Yes.
Well, Jay, episode 197 as we march toward 200.
We are pushing towards 200.
And once again, I've signed an extension. I'm on for one more year.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens at the end of the. I drive a little harder bargain than you do.
You'll be here till you die.
Well, as long as I get as long as I can fly in first class or something. As long as I get.
None of us may get to fly except for John Kerry soon.
Oh, that's right. I mean,
Teresa said that
the quasi mandates that
Yes.
might come down. I think will come down. I mean.
Yeah.
By the way, what is with baseball wanting to push out the start of the season?
I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
There's a proposal. Pitchers and catchers are supposed to report on like February 18th.
Yes.
Okay, and they want to. The commissioner wants to push out spring training in the start of the year. They don't want to start the year till like April 26th or something. And
Why? That's
I have
super
no idea.
late.
I have no idea. You've
They
got
played
football.
like a half a season last year.
They didn't even
and-
play that. They played like 66 games or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got hockey playing, you got basketball playing, you got football hasn't missed a week, and baseball wants to start a month late. I don't.
Baseball, where nobody almost ever touches anybody.
I mean, you got high school wrestling going on, but
Right.
what I don't understand is, I mean, professional athletes in their 20s and 30s are probably the healthiest people on the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that they're in jeopardy from, I think they're upset with DeSantis too, because
Yeah.
DeSantis is going to let people go to spring training games.
Really?
I think they're underneath that. I think they're a little pissed off at.
Could be.
Yeah, and the same thing with Arizona with Doug Ducey. They're going to allow
Yeah.
it too. So I think those are the only two states where people train. So I think maybe
Yeah.
there's a little. They're delaying that in a sense, but
Everything is political, and it bothers me.
I don't get it. If 250 people can be in a church, why can't 500 people be at the Wild game? I'm lost as to why that is, or especially a baseball game that's outside. I mean, what would be the issue with that?
Control. That's it.
well-
They don't want them in churches either, but
Yeah, the
Supreme Courts have already come down on
Well,
the side
yeah,
of the
it's-
churches with that.
there's
So
this thing called the First Amendment, which
Right.
we apply once in a while.
There's no First Amendment for cricket. It's
Well, there's not, but
nobody goes to cricket, so that's
well,
safe. But
there,
yes,
there isn't. But I mean, at some point, I can understand not packing 40,000 people into a
into a big sardine can.
right.
Yeah.
I get,
yeah.
but why can't? I mean, Target Field seats how many people? What does it seat? 38,000, is it?
Yeah. Maybe.
Why can't 1,000 be there?
Yeah.
They're not going to all cluster. Come on, we all know they're not going to do that.
They'll sit in families.
Yeah, they'll sit and they let them sit wherever they want to. Some will go sit in the outfield. Some will move between innings. I mean, what is the problem with that? They want to pay $9 for a hot dog with a soggy bud? Let them. I mean, what's the problem?
Yeah, and what about all these vending companies? I mean, I'm sure
Oh,
they
God.
sure could use the money.
Well, I think baseball worked out. I know baseball worked out something.
Oh,
with
did
them.
they bail them out?
Well, or
Big hot dog.
yeah.
Too big to fail.
well, I think
Yeah.
I think that I don't know about a bailout, but I think they've got contracts with teams, and I
Yeah.
think somehow they figured out with their TV money because baseball TV money was really high last year.
Right.
But that's because nobody could go to the games. Everybody had to sit and watch. So I don't think baseball took off last year like it's the 70s again. But,
Right.
All right. Anyway, enough with your distractions, Jay.
What?
Yeah, you keep distracting people here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, do you
Yeah.
know? No, I'm kidding. I guess I'm just as bad. Jay,
Yes.
I mean, I just can't stand it. And today we're gonna examine some of the dumbest things and the dumbest rules, the dumbest laws that are still on the books all over this country.
Hour 1 is dedicated to Governor Cuomo.
Oh, is it? How about de Blasio? How about
Yeah,
him?
yeah.
I mean,
All right.
I am on bestlifeonline.com if you want to follow this.
Best life.
30 strangest small town laws in America.
Oh, I hate that saying, best life.
Well, what do you call it? Goodest life?
No, I just live.
Oh, okay. Best live?
No.
Ever been to Pocatello, Idaho, Jay?
Pocatello, Idaho. I've never been to Idaho. I would like to be to Idaho. I hear it's beautiful.
Now, it is beautiful. I was there for last time I was there, I was on my honeymoon.
Yeah?
We were on the Idaho side of Yellowstone Park. Question for you.
Yes.
This is an off-the-wall question. What state, let's forget Idaho for a minute.
Okay.
What state have you not been to that you really want to go to?
Oh, goodness. Nebraska. No, I'm just kidding. I've been to Nebraska. Gosh, I'd love to go to Hawaii. I'd love to go to Alaska in the summer.
Hawaii was on the top of my list.
Utah with the mountains and stuff.
I've never been there.
Where else? I've been. I don't know.
You've been everywhere.
Yeah, man. I've been everywhere. Those are probably top my list. I've never been out on other than that swamp DC. I haven't been out east either. It'd be nice to visit. Well, would it even really be nice to visit New York anymore? I don't know. Maybe up Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine.
I went to New York once. I thought it was a dump.
Yeah.
That's just me. It was cool to see it once.
Yeah.
And I would go back to New York with my wife, who's never been there. If she wanted to go, I'd go with her. But because I would love to go to a Yankee game.
Yeah.
I did see Times Square and the statue. I mean, that stuff was cool.
I would love to go out to the East Coast, Massachusetts and all that, and do like a Founders kind of tour, see all the stuff from the 1700s.
I was going to say, like, I've never been northeast of New York. So, like, the 6 little states up there, I've never been there. I'll tell you what I really would like to do is go down to, like, Vicksburg or something like that down in Mississippi. I've never been to Mississippi. Not a state I care to go to that much, but
I went to an alligator farm there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I hate reptiles? What did they do down there?
I don't know. You walk around and look at the alligators, and they feed them, and you get on like one of those hover boats, and they take you around a huge swamp area, and they eat like chicken and stuff.
Yeah, they eat people too.
Yeah, they
give them the death roll.
Yeah, they kind of keep you away from them though. You're not in danger of.
Oh, you're not. Remember what happened to Crocodile Dundee, where he was up on his boat? And,
yeah.
All right. By the way, in
Pocatello,
right, Idaho, it is illegal there to frown.
Really?
Yes, frowning is illegal. So, Dianne Feinstein can't go to Pocatello, Idaho, or somebody like that. You can't do that. I mean, just think, frowning, literally.
Yes, and in Idaho, they do not have a mask mandate, so you really can't go to Idaho.
Oh,
and
you
frown.
can't even fake it.
Yeah.
By the way, did you hear Wisconsin repealed their mask mandate yesterday?
No.
Yes. No state around us has a mask mandate.
Just wait till we have a 2-mask mandate.
I think we might have an 100 mask mandate. How do you like this? Derby, Kansas. Is that right by Kentucky?
No.
Okay. Derby, Kansas, it is illegal to hit a vending machine. Now, let me tell you something. I've not only hit vending machines, I've like rocked them. I've like nearly tipped them over, okay? You don't give me my Wrigley's gum or my Skittles. Let me tell you something. I will kick that thing until it falls. Because I don't know what it is. I want to kill. Figuratively. Whoever invented the little turn things, why doesn't it just drop to you? But no, they have this little turn cycle thing, and it gets stuck right at the my Cheez-Its. That's why I quit eating Cheez-Its, because it would always get stuck. It's like, why doesn't it work like a well or something? You push something and boom, it just spits it out, or it drops. Like a gallows or something. Just make it drop through.
Could be worse. They could make you do like one of those crane games, where you got to like drop the crane and try to pick your snack up.
I have never wanted a crane game in my life.
Yeah.
It is literally one of the top 10 things on my bucket list is to win something at a crane game. That's right up there with getting a hole-in-one. I have to win something at a crane.
Yeah.
Sometime. I don't care if I win a piece of used gum. I want something out of a crane game.
My grandpa got a hole-in-one once when I was out golfing with him. Of course, we kind of ran across the fairway, grabbed his ball, and dropped it in a hole.
Okay.
He knew it, but...
So it was Minneapolis public school style.
Yes.
I was with a friend of mine who got a hole-in-one. It was a green that went uphill. He hit it over, and it trickled. We were at a par 3 course. Actually, it was Brookview in Golden Valley.
Yeah.
And it just trickled ever so slowly till it went back. Seriously, it was like a Hillary Clinton speech. It just went whoa, and then went in.
Nice.
So it was pretty. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to own an apartment building or something in Ruford, Maine.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I would. I take that back. I would, because if you harass your tenants, they're not allowed to bite you. That is an actual statute in Rumford. Is that how you say that?
Rumford, yeah.
Yeah. So a $2,500 fine for biting your landlord.
Most people grow out of biting people like around first grade or so, don't they?
They do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
My cat bites me all the time.
They're not, your cat's not people, so.
By the way, we just mentioned Mississippi.
Yes, we did.
I don't know where Natchez, Mississippi is, and I don't know what.
Natchez.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Natchez? Is that what I said? Whatever, starts with an N. I don't know what kind of an elephant problem they have there, but it turns out that giving beer to an elephant is illegal.
Yes.
In Natchez, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Apparently, somebody got an elephant drunk. One time. I mean, is there an elephant problem in the United States I'm unaware of?
Not that I know of. I don't know. Indian elephants, African elephants. There's no like great American elephants that I've ever heard of.
Must have been a circus that got loose or something.
Maybe.
I'll tell you what. You want to only ride Seabiscuit in Wilbur, Washington, because riding ugly horses is illegal there.
What's it? What makes a horse ugly?
I don't know. There's an old thing, big is beautiful, but maybe not.
Yeah,
but
I don't
an
know.
ugly horse, whatever that means, is punishable by a $300 fine.
Maybe they're just looking at the wrong end.
Huh. Yeah. The part that goes where the fence last. Jay, why did the chicken cross the road?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Letting a chicken cross the road is illegal in Quitman, Georgia.
Okay.
It is against the law for a chicken to cross an open road. Of course, the chickens can't be punished, but the owner will be held accountable for the chicken crossing the road.
Yeah.
So the lamest joke ever, which I don't even get. Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Is that funny?
No.
I like why did the old man throw the alarm clock?
Why?
See time fly. I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gooder than the other one.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the silly string murder before?
No.
You haven't? This lady who killed her kids and blamed it on an intruder and put silly string all over their grave?
No.
I can't remember the name. Doesn't matter. Google it.
Yeah.
She doesn't live in Southington, Connecticut, though, I can tell you that, because the use of silly string is banned.
Really?
At carnivals, parades, and public places. The ordinance banning the stuff was created after a bunch of people sprayed a parade with silly string, which stained clothing, messed up paint on cars, really, and nearly caused 2 police officers to lose control of their motorcycles. Come on, Roscoe can't drive straight without silly string.
Boy.
Using silly string in public, punishable by a $99 fine. I don't know if I hate this law in Nicola, Colorado. It requires every household in town to own a gun for their own safety. Now, I guess I'm against requiring it. I mean, the Second Amendment is a right you choose to exercise.
Right.
But felons, the mentally disabled, and
Paupers.
Pampers, who are they?
Paupers, like the, I suppose, like homeless people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are excluded from the law, as are people who won't own guns for religious reasons. Per the latest census, the population is 700.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think all the gun haters have too much to worry about there. But what do you mean the mentally disabled? I mean, I've got a problem. I've just got a problem. Generally, I don't know where I would draw the line. But I mean, if somebody has a mental issue, why are they not allowed to defend themselves?
Right.
I mean, I could have Down syndrome and still own private property that I have the right to protect.
Right.
I mean, does that count? I mean, we'd never take away their right to vote or their right to free speech or their right to a trial by attorney or illegal search and seizure. Why are their Second Amendment rights up for grabs if need be? If they've got their permit to own a gun, they bought it, why is it that they can't exercise that?
I don't know, but this is a scary, slippery slope here. Is that they've talked about this. If you look at the red flag laws that they were proposing, is
there already are red flag laws, though. That's
where do you draw that line? Is somebody mentally unstable because they shouted at their spouse? Are they mentally unstable because they went overseas to fight? And came back with PTSD, even though they know how to handle a firearm. Is somebody mentally disabled?
Our country sent them over there to use one,
right?
Well, and how many times too during like divorce proceedings do you see so allegations of
right?
It all comes 20 years after the fact, and then what? They can take your self-defense rights away?
Yeah, ridiculous.
I mean, it's just kind of, or what? You're diagnosed with anxiety or something, and you're right. There is no clear-cut way to draw the line. I think the reason that quote-unquote mental illness is used is defined that as broadly as possible, so fewer and fewer people can own a gun and protect themselves.
Right. Now, I haven't seen the way this one is written. I guess it's not mandatory to own one, but maybe they still can, because in every state in the union, doesn't a sheriff's office decide whether or not you get a permit to carry a gun?
For a carry, not to purchase.
Right. Well,
I believe that
has to go
if
through
you want conceal and
a
carry,
national registry, right? That's why you have an FFL license. It's a federal firearm license, and they have to go through these background checks. That's
part of the Brady bill from 1994 or 93. I don't know about you're talking about a dealer, though. I don't know about. I know conceal and carry in Minnesota goes through a county sheriff's office. There's a short course you have to take, but that's conceal and carry.
Right.
That's taking it out of your home, which is defined. The law here defines that differently.
Right.
But to purchase and again, it depends on what you're buying too. There's one of the problems is how they're defined. A so-called assault rifle, which is basically a gun that looks scary. Pretty much every gun is a semi-automatic today,
right,
which people don't understand. You don't eject a cartridge and reload.
Yeah.
The way you did in the Revolutionary War. Okay, so I mean, guns have
powder and balls in the
well,
end.
yeah, loading it in the front. No, I mean, but your average 45 millimeter is a 6-shooter that automatically you have to pull the trigger every time.
Right.
But that's defined as a semi-automatic, and that assault rifle has a large umbrella that I think people don't really get, what that entails. So, I mean, I'm not an expert on it. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, but
But yeah, I'm with you. I don't like the
I don't like the vague defining of.
right. Although I think for the sake of this, they're just not mandating it, but I don't think it's keeping them from buying it. Hopefully, I don't know.
Well, it may just depend on the state laws there because
Yes, there's only so much a city can do regarding that.
and it depends on the state.
Yeah.
I mean, there's states that give leeway both ways, good and bad,
Yeah.
to local governments.
Right.
Minnesota is kind of in the middle there because, yes, you can get. What if you get a bad sheriff? I come back to this. What if you get an anti-gun sheriff?
Right.
Who doesn't want to do that? It can't be up to their discretion. There has to be one standard, I think.
Our lovely
my
sheriff
rights
was
are
how many
right.
months behind on.
I know, but
Yeah.
my rights shouldn't vary from county to county. So
No.
I think that's questionable, but that's a debate for
No,
another
and
day.
the turnaround on the carry laws were like 30 days. I think you're supposed to look at it within 30 days, and he was months and months behind.
There's
Yeah.
a timeline that starts once you complete that course.
Yeah.
You're supposed to complete a course on it.
Yep.
And I have to say this about Sheriff Stanek, who I wasn't the biggest fan of, but he was notoriously good on this issue.
Yeah.
He wasn't great on some other issues, and he has some views on guns that I don't agree with. But when it came to conceal and carry, Hennepin County was very efficient on it, especially for a county of 1 million people. It did lapse under our, you got to remember Hutch Hutchinson, his biggest worry before becoming sheriff was winos on a transit line, okay? Or, somebody who's depressed because they're behind on their child support payments. I mean, they just, to go from that to sheriff, I think is,
Yeah.
little, anyway. You'll be glad to know in Moline, Illinois, that ice skating is forbidden in June and August. So during those summer months, okay, it is illegal to ice skate. And I think that's outside.
They should probably take a look at that with all the the artificial ice and all that now. If Florida can have a hockey team, if Arizona can have a hockey team,
Hey, California, Texas,
Yeah.
you name it. I mean,
absolutely.
I'll tell you what, if I'm buying a wiener, interesting how you buy one in Fort Lauderdale, because you must dressing appropriately is outlawed if you're a hot dog vendor. Hot dog vendors in Fort Lauderdale need to keep their outfits modest. They can't have exposed cleavage, wear a G-string, or do the job in a bikini. Well, that eliminates me selling anything.
Wow. TMI,
yeah.
Andrew, TMI.
So if you want to sell wieners, you can't have too much cleavage. What about footlong wieners?
Keep it clean. This is a family show.
Hey, Joe Biden's home state. Wonder if old Sleepy's ever heard of this. Fenwick Island, Delaware, tailgating illegal after midnight. You want to tailgate at 11:59, you go right ahead. But at midnight, boy, we're going to throw the book at you.
Ooh. It's kind of like the COVID laws. Everything's got to shut down at 10 because that's when the virus comes out.
That's right. It's dormant until
Yes.
9:59, and as soon as that happens, it comes right out.
Yes.
I might consider this racist.
Yes.
Eating watermelon in a park is banned in Beech Grove, Indiana. Well, I think that's systemic racism right there.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, you know what watermelon is a food that how do I put this? You know that
that's the stereotype,
right?
You mean.
And
Yes.
Joe Louis would not get filmed
Yeah.
eating watermelon when he was heavyweight champion of the world because of the stereotype.
Yeah.
So this is systemic racism right here. And we
Absolutely.
need Beech Grove, Indiana. We need Amber Fry or one of these Melvin Catta or one of these Rebecca Knocker types to go down to Beech Grove and tell them what systemic racism's all about. Maybe the teachers union down there can do something about it. Oh, man. Any law against fried chicken, I think, is just tough.
Yes.
Gainesville County. Now we're back to Georgia again. Eating fried chicken with a fork is forbidden. Can't get that KFC to go. You can't. You don't have a fork with it, Jay. You got to use your hand. Finger licking good is the only way you can have it down there. How about chopsticks? Can you use chopsticks down there?
I don't know. A 91-year-old woman was arrested on her birthday for violating the law. Wow.
Nice to know the police down there are going after real crime. I'll tell you
Yes.
what. I mean, they're going to enforce it equally. The proper process is to repeal this law.
Yes.
I think I might be in favor of the next one.
Yes.
Waterbury, Connecticut. Whistling loudly is forbidden. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you a little story. The few times I've ridden the bus in my life, and like I've said before on the podcast, the most unhappy, unhealthy people on the face of the earth ride the bus. Okay? Nobody wants to be there. They hate it.
Yes.
Okay? If some a-hole is whistling behind you, and I've had this happen to me, it disrupts everybody's misery. Okay? And when I had to ride the bus, and I loved my car, and I didn't have it for a little while, to listen to this moron whistle the Andy Griffith theme, I could have turned around and made him a permanent part of the window. Let's put it that way. So, and he whistled not only loudly, okay, but over and over. And the bus stops around here, Jay. There's a stop every 2 feet.
Just about.
We can't let anybody walk too far, because we don't want anybody riding the bus to lose 5 calories. So, I mean, there's, I can understand whistle rage. I get it. I understand it more than like hockey rage or something or golf rage. Although I've ruined a club or two. I can tell you this much though. I might be willing to look at, and I don't know if what do you walk around with a decimal meter or something to somebody's what's the definition of loud whistling?
Yes, I don't know.
But I think that's something, and the next one's probably kind of naughty. Of course, it's in L.A., in the California. Letting dogs mate near a church is a violation. Within 500 yards, dogs cannot do the dirty. Within 500 yards of a church. So, Joe, you want to keep Fido and Lucy apart when First Church of St. James Corinthians Psalms or whatever is around the corner. Yeah. So just make sure you keep them away. We can't, it is not good to have that happen. Now, again, Jay, I'm going to skip over a few here. And I want to go to Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay, our neighbors.
Yeah, and let me just say this. I don't know how to dance. I can't dance. Only times I've ever danced, I've had 371 gins in me. But dancing with a hat on, did you know this? In Fargo is illegal. To dance with a hat on.
Wow.
So no country hoedowns or square dancing. No nothing like that. Can't bring the 10-gallon with you. I know you do that every weekend.
Oh, of course.
So you cannot dance with a hat on. You just think, in a city like Fargo, a big city like that, you cannot dance with a hat on. Somebody is corrupted if that happens.
How did that law come to be? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. It doesn't really say here. You can wear a hat to a club, but not on the dance floor. There's an outdated ordinance that prevents it. Likewise, it is illegal in Fargo for girls under 18 to go to dance halls, but that rule is also no longer enforced. Well, then why is it still on the books?
Yes.
How hard would it be? It would take 10 seconds to go repeal that law.
Well, government doesn't repeal anything. So.
You mentioned Utah, Jay.
Yes.
Don't want to get in a snowball fight up there
Oh,
because you
disappointed.
You could get in trouble for that. Snowballs are categorized as missiles in Provo, Utah. It's against the law to throw them at people or buildings or just in the air. The town averages 43 inches. Is that where BYU is? Provo, Utah?
I don't know.
The town averages 43 inches of snow per year. You know what? There was nothing as a kid better than a snowball fight. There's this one kid. Remember, I threw like an ice ball, and I just threw it in the air, and I hit this kid right in the nose. It was just great. It was just awesome. And I remember, you'd be on teams, and we used to climb up on roofs and stuff, and like we'd give an avalanche to somebody who thinks that they were hiding. It was just great.
A missile.
Yeah, it's classic.
I'm launching a tomahawk snowball. Look out.
I'll tell you what, you got to eat out at La Cruces, Mexico. Carrying a lunchbox is banned. It's against the law to walk down Main Street in La Cruces carrying a lunchbox. Nobody knows why, but it was, according to popular theories, created to help local businesses. Really? What if you got your lunch at a local business and then... What?
I don't know.
Hey, boy, I'll tell you what. Nobody from Wisconsin could move to Louisiana. Being an alcoholic is illegal in Sulphur, Louisiana. Who'd live in a city called Sulphur?
I don't know.
Sulphur, Louisiana. It's against the law to be a habitual drunkard, and they can be charged with vagrancy, which comes with a fine of no more than $200 up to 6 months in jail.
What? I was $200 or up to 6 months in jail. That's
I'll choose the 200.
Yeah.
I mean, what? A habitual drunkard?
I wonder if that solved anything.
Yeah.
All over the South, they have these dry counties. And
Yes.
people just go outside of the county to bring it in.
Yeah, in fact, I tell you another short story with that. When I drove down to Atlanta one time, I stopped in we drove a long way. We got all the way to Kentucky.
Yes.
And I asked the guy at the motel, I needed a drink bad. I asked the guy, my legs were sore and my back was sore from my car. And I said, I need a drink, dude. Where's the nearest pub? And he goes, Dry County, man. I'm like, what? I'm like,
see, and that's why I know that. My grandma lived in a dry county in Kentucky, and
there's not even a boar's nest?
I mean, I don't know. I was too young. I wasn't the one smuggling it in, but
yeah, right.
I was but a boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a dry county. It just, I can't believe. Whatever. I'll tell you what. Why do I enjoy being in Chicago?
Because you're insane.
It's a big city that I visited, and I enjoy it there.
Yeah.
And if you had never been there, you got to go to. It's like New York. You got to go there once. I've been there about 5 times. But to see Wrigley Field, to do the Riverwalk, and all that stuff, I would go back to Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, they may have the strangest ordinance on earth. Eating in a burning building is banned. So if you're burning buildings, you can't finish those SpaghettiOs. You've got to get the hell out of there.
There goes my new concept restaurant.
I mean, I wonder how broad. Yes. I wonder how broad that's enforced. Get a little kitchen fire going on. Does everybody have to get up and leave their shrimp basket or what? I mean, You are legally obligated to leave the building and leave the grub behind.
Wow. Well,
So,
got to put safety first, Andrew.
yeah. What about my appetite?
That's a
That
little
comes
odd.
second? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, Jay, I mean,
Yes.
there's dumb things. You can go anywhere with dumb things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Wisconsin for some more dumb things.
Okay.
Only in our state.com. In Racine, Wisconsin, it is illegal to shoot a missile at a parade participant. Just so you know, you happen to have a rocket launcher in your car that day. You cannot shoot it at parade walkers.
What do you think this is, Riyadh? This isn't Tehran, for crying out loud.
In Wausau, God, we're back to Provo again. Wausau, or whatever you call it,
Wausau, yeah.
you once again cannot throw snowballs.
Really?
You know what I'd do? I'd throw one right at City Hall. The city manager walks in, I'd hit him or her right in the ass with a snowball. That's what I would do. In La Crosse,
Yes.
it is illegal to worry a squirrel. Squirrel can't get worried.
Huh? Wow, I don't know how you worry a squirrel or not worry a squirrel.
I don't know, but in St.
I-
Croix,
But you know, the report forms are very small.
yeah, that's true. they're hard to fill out, I'm sure, too.
I don't understand this gibberish.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are not permitted to go outside in Milwaukee if you look offensive. Well, then how's it a democratic town? I just don't understand it. I mean, does that...
No, they
How's-
didn't say smell offensive.
Oh, okay. That's...
The town reeks of patchouli oil, but everybody looks nice.
You said that. And how about... oh, God. California, the town that could screw up a one-car parade. California, I won't go through the state laws, but you'll listen to this. It is illegal where's Hermosa Beach?
Oh goodness, I could find out. I've heard of it. I don't know exactly where.
Hermosa Beach. It is illegal to pour salt on a highway there.
Okay.
So if you got a highway there, you can put all the pepper on it you want, but you can't put any salt on it.
Well, do they mean like road salt, like here? Let's see how far north.
How much? Wait a minute. Do they
it's
have
by
big
Redondo
winters there?
Beach.
Do they have
No.
big winters there? What would they need salt for?
I thought it was by L.A. Yeah, it's in L.A. It's
It's a beach. I'm guessing
yeah,
it's by the ocean.
It's by Redondo Beach, which is, I think that's in the southern. Yeah, it's south of the airport, so that's South L.A.
Yeah. So is there a melting salt? Is that a big?
Does it ever snow in Los Angeles? I don't think so.
I don't.
Okay. Yes.
In Long Beach, California,
Also in L.A.
it is prohibited to put anything other than a car in a garage. Anything?
Really? That's a little odd.
So I can't put tools or a TV and a lounge and make it a man cave.
Yeah.
In Downey, California, you cannot wash your vehicle in the street. In LA, it's illegal to wash your neighbor's car without your neighbor's permission. Really?
Bill, what are you doing?
Hey, you were at work today and decided to wash your car. Wax on, wax off. Sorry, it's a different. Sorry, it's a different color now. But
How dare you?
in Blythe, is that a Blythe, How do you pronounce that? Blythe?
Blythe.
Yeah.
Blythe.
You are permitted to wear cowboy boots only if you own at least 2 cows.
Really? Didn't know cowboy boots were a big problem in Blythe.
Well, that must be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Another, let me see. In Glendale, it is against the law to jump out of a moving vehicle. Not only is it dumb, you can also get a ticket for it. Also in Glendale, it's illegal to drive in reverse.
What? How do you? What if you're
Backing out of your driveway? Ever seen the movie License to Drive? He drives in California backwards pretty well.
Yeah.
You cannot hunt in L.A. You cannot hunt moths under street lamps. Well, where the hell are they if they're not under street lamps? That's where they are. What are you supposed to do? Wait till the morning? Aren't they nocturnal?
Yeah.
Are they on the endangered species
You
list?
could
or
let them
something?
in your house, I suppose, and get them
Yeah,
under
but
your
then-
kitchen lamp.
Yeah, I guess that's okay, I guess. In Prunendale? Prunendale, Prunedale, 2 bathtubs cannot be installed in the same house.
Really?
We don't want anybody too clean. In Fresno, California, visitors cannot bother lizards at city parks. What did I tell you? So if a lizard is there, sticking their tongue out at you, you got to leave them alone. In San Francisco, it is not legal to carry bread, cakes, or pastries that are intended for human consumption in open baskets or exposed containers. You know why? It's because the homeless will come there and tackle you for them.
Yeah.
Berkeley, California. Oh, boy. It's illegal to whistle for a lost canary before 7 a.m. So your canary goes lost at 6:30. You can't whistle for him for a half an hour.
In Eureka, California, it is illegal for men with mustaches to kiss a woman. But because it's California, they can kiss another man.
I was about to say, is it okay for the old mustache mush? Also in San Francisco, any person classified as ugly may not legally walk down the street. Well, then how did Gavin Newsom become the mayor there? I mean, come on. I mean, who thinks of, here's my question. How does somebody not go through, these freaking laws and go, what the heck is going on here? Let's do one more. New York.
Okay.
Got to do New York. New York. It is illegal in New York City to sell cat or dog hair. So,
Okay.
yeah. So,
What about if you bake cookies and your cat hair gets in the cookies? Is that illegal?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Fine or jail time.
Yeah?
It's against the law to throw a ball at someone's face for fun. Damn. Bet de Blasio wrote that.
You've been pelted one too many times as a teenager. Shut up, de Blasio.
Yeah. You got made fun of for a whole lot of things. A license must be purchased before hanging clothes on a clothesline. I used to like old clotheslines.
Yeah.
You need a license in New York City to have a
Wow.
clothesline.
That would
Remember, have you seen
Yeah.
the photos of like Little Italy where they had clotheslines like hanging out windows and stuff like that? Like, have you ever seen Pride of the Yankees? Movie about Lou Gehrig?
No. I haven't.
Okay, because his parents they live in those, like those tenements where everybody has like their underwear hanging out the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and that's the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. On the West Coast, you get license to drive. The movie on the East Coast is terrible. License to hang laundry.
Yeah. Well, that movie was good, but Gary Cooper does a good Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
No taking selfies with tigers.
Oh.
So you got a tiger walking down the street. Whatever you do, don't take a selfie.
There goes my bucket list.
Yeah, I mean, you might get eaten or something, but make
Yeah.
sure you don't. It is against the law to run a puppet show in a window. Boy, I wonder why. Little Johnny and Susie are running a puppet show. And I'll tell you, I know this is tough for you, Jay.
Yeah.
You may not walk around on Sundays with an ice cream cone in your pocket. Put that ice cream cone in your pocket. You can do it any other day of the week, but not on Sunday. You can go melt your shorts any other day, but
Yeah.
no one seems to know where this law came from. But this must be an old blue law from way back in the day. How about this? And I wonder how Cuomo or de Blasio would relate to this. It's illegal for 2 or more mask-wearing people to congregate in public. Well, they're breaking that every freaking minute over there.
That's why they want everybody to stay home.
I mean, you've got Mike Myers and Jason getting together every single day there because everybody's got to wear a mask.
Yeah.
They're violating their own city law. Ugh.
Criminy.
So there's just a good example. Now, Jay, of course, we are Community Solutions.
Yes.
And we come up with solutions to this stuff. Now, these are dumb examples, but the moral of the story, I think, is lots of laws get created
Yes.
for whatever reason, whatever stupid reason. And very rarely does a law get repealed. Almost never.
Almost never.
I mean, it's extremely rare. There is something in the Minnesota legislature right now that just got introduced to make wearing masks a permanent thing in public places. Now, there's no sunset date on it. I mean, it's not going to pass.
No,
but
it better not. I know this is what the governor wanted.
yeah, he wants to write it in
Yeah.
law. I mean, what, indefinitely?
Won't do it. I mean, I do it when I have to. I mean, I obviously when I'm inside places or whatever, and I feel like, okay, I don't want people. I do it for the benefit of others. But like my nose gets chapped, and my face itches and I can't breathe.
I have a lot
hate
of
it.
trouble. I know. It's so awful. But I mean, people talk about, a law, if it goes in, it can just be repealed.
Yeah.
Find me a new tax that has been repealed. Find me a tax.
Yeah.
It'll just be 1%.
Right.
I mean, we all know that's we're still paying alcohol taxes in the state of Minnesota that were designed to pay bonds on the Metrodome. So don't tell me taxes go away. The politicians grab the money and they find something else to spend it on. And masks are going to work the same way. But I'll tell you what, this illustrates the point. Dumb laws like the things we've talked about, every one of them is stupid. Maybe you shouldn't take selfies with tigers, but we don't need that written in law.
No.
And none of them get repealed, ever. And just think, if a city decided to start enforcing them tomorrow, they could.
Yeah.
Because the law doesn't allow ignorance.
No, and that is like with all of these mask mandates and stay-at-home orders. Oh, we're gonna choose an educational approach, and we're not gonna start out with giving people fines and jail time. But what did they do? They did move in that direction.
Yeah.
And I know like right now there is a mask mandate going on at the federal level for all federal property, and they say, well, we reserve the right to be able to enforce with penalties, financial and legal penalties, if we so choose to.
Yeah. But that again, I mean, what happened to President Biden's mandatory mask mandate for the country? You know what he realized? He doesn't have the authority to enforce it.
Right.
Somebody should have told him that when he was running. It was all just to get votes, to scare people. Yeah. It was a total lie. President Trump was 100% right on the law that he had no means to enforce it.
Yeah.
And that's true. The president doesn't control police forces. They don't control sheriff's offices.
Nope.
So there is no means. And now federal property, is that defined as a national park, any government building.
I suppose so. Yeah.
So yeah. So now is that indoor or is that?
I don't know. I haven't seen the
I'd like to see
full
somebody
text,
visit
but-
the Grand Canyon in
Yeah.
July and be outside and wear a mask. I
Yeah.
just don't think people are going to do it.
be out in the middle of Superior National Forest
Yeah.
wearing a mask.
Is there an end date on that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
They're discussing it. It hasn't passed. And you know how that stuff goes.
I thought
You don't-
Biden
you
did it
don't-
by executive order.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't get to see that stuff until
No, some
Too late.
lawyer writes it up,
Yeah.
and the media doesn't even make it public. They just, I mean, the president's already done more executive orders in 3 weeks than.
And that's the thing. He's got legal teams writing him up. He's got special interests writing him up. And Weekend at Bernie's, somebody just takes his hand and
well,
puts the
yeah,
signature
exactly.
there.
Weekend at Biden's. I mean, nobody. I mean, it's
Yeah.
these executive
he
orders.
doesn't know what he's signing.
He doesn't know that it's Thursday. So I mean, and I say that with some level of sympathy.
I do too, but I do. But when I say he doesn't know what he's signing, it's because I don't believe he stands for anything. I think that, he goes along with whatever, and I don't think he has like a moral compass, because first he's against abortion, then he's for it. How can you be for and against something like abortion?
Al Gore was the same.
It's
way.
wrong.
Dick Gephardt was the
There's
same way
there's
too.
no way that you change your view on that from I'm against it to I'm for it.
Sure you do. Sure you do. If you want to move up politically, then you change anything.
Yeah.
Al Gore, Jesse Jackson back in the 70s called abortion black genocide. Dick Gephardt, Bill Clinton, all of them had pro-life views in the 70s. As soon as they wanted to run for higher office, they changed those views. And by the way, it does happen on both sides. Guys like Mitt Romney said that he would be to the left of Ted Kennedy on abortion when he ran against him, and suddenly when he wanted to run for a higher office, changed his mind.
Right.
Now, maybe he went through some epiphany. Maybe
I think you can go from pro-choice to pro-life. I don't think you can go the other way.
I don't
you
know.
get an epiphany that, oh, this really is life. You don't get an epiphany, oh, this isn't life.
I don't
thought it
understand.
was. I thought it was life.
I
but
don't
it's not.
understand it either, but
I thought this thing that was moving around in here was life, but it's reflexes. What do you know?
Well, how about John? How about you mentioned John Kerry when he ran for president? He said life begins at conception.
Mm-hmm.
Yet his voting record and policies were the opposite of that.
Yeah.
If you really believe that, okay, and if life doesn't begin, then I'm curious when it does. I mean, it's kind of hard to make the argument that it begins some other time. But if you really believe that, how then? The only explanation I can come up with is that they did what they had to do. And I'll tell you to move up. And I'll tell you what. The biggest spot where Biden is a hypocrite is this whole idea about drug laws and stuff being racist.
Yeah.
Who is the author of the 1994 crime bill who put more blacks in minorities in federal prison for nonviolent drug offenses? Who authored that bill? Joe Biden.
Yep.
And where were the other Democratic candidates pointing that out? Yeah, I mean, this guy's going to end systemic racism. He partly caused it.
He is systemic racism.
God. I mean, there's just... Now, again,
Yeah.
the president could change his mind on an issue, but you can't have it both ways.
And that's why I say he doesn't stand for anything.
Is he going to run again in 24? He'll be 82 years old.
We'll see if he's still president.
Well, I think he'll be alive. There'll be 3 or 4 marbles upstairs.
Yeah, but I don't know if they'll. I don't know if
setting
they're
up.
going to
Is he a
25th Amendment
placeholder
him.
for Harris? I mean, is
I
that,
think so.
you can't invoke the 25th Amendment. I don't know how that can ever get invoked because I don't understand the standard behind it. I don't understand what meets the criteria for forcing a president.
Your vice president has to be on board for one, and I think we know she is.
Oh, sure. I mean, if I were Biden, I'd have somebody else try his food. I mean, that's what I would do.
I would hire somebody
But
to
let's
watch
say,
my back. Yeah.
I mean, he's a placeholder for Harris. I think we can say that with some,
Yeah.
whether that's in 24 or 28. So, but I mean, I'd be interested. I'm concerned about it on a lot of levels because I don't want to vote for either side in 24. But I'm concerned because the establishment Republicans, and I think I've mentioned this before, are going to go, oh, well, if Harris is the candidate, you got to have a woman or a minority or you can't win. Yeah, I mean, who did Donald Trump beat, by the way? Yeah, well, woman. Yeah. It's not possible, though.
Right.
So, I mean, you have a pool of candidates that's like 5, and that's what I'm concerned about, is that we're going to go back to the game of, we're playing, they are playing the identity, both sides are playing the identity politics. And I think that's, I don't know about you, but I can't think of too many times where I've voted based on race or gender. It's always been about the person and ideas. And I don't care what color that. I thought that's the
Absolutely.
I thought we were supposed to judge people on the content of their character.
Supposed to? Yeah.
Not on what of the 26 genders you are.
Right.
I mean, it's just we're just going backwards as a nation. We're just going backwards. Anyway, getting these laws repealed.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, and I know at cities that the process can be cumbersome. I know that in cities like Crystal, where they did a task force, I think it's so critical to examine, and I think cities ought to do it every 10 years, just like a comprehensive plan. They ought
go
to
through your ordinances, clear out everything that's junk.
And junk, or you're not enforcing, or nobody knows about, nobody cares about. There should be robust discussions. And you know what? I'd like to create another law. Every law that you make, one law has to be repealed. That way government doesn't grow.
Yeah.
So every time you raise a tax, you have to cut a tax. How about that? Like they said on Dr. Phil. How about that? Catch Me Outside. How about that? I still can't believe you haven't watched it. Have you watched that YouTube yet?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
Yeah. just search Catch Me Outside Girl and you'll find it.
Okay, I'll remember to do that after.
You have to do. Just do it by next week. Can you just can you spend that 30 seconds and not blast your Roxette tapes and look up what I'm telling you? Or lip sync Milli Vanilli or whatever else you do. I mean, you got to watch that video. I'm just telling you.
Okay, yeah, I'll get right on it.
I give you 30 seconds of homework and you won't do it.
If it was something that I thought would make my life better, I'd be all over it.
Oh, I think it's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
All right. Jay, once again, we have, dumb laws. And I say for every law that gets made, a law has to get repealed.
So you'd have like a maximum number of laws. Although they would try to turn it that if you repeal a law, you'd have to create one to take its place. Oh, let's repeal this dumb law and let's put in something really sinister.
Well, that's possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think we'll do an amendment to that. I'll amend what I said. If you repeal, here's the thing. If any step in the direction of repealing laws, I can take baby steps.
Yeah.
I know you can't wait for a perfect bill. You can't wait for a perfect solution. It's never going to be there.
Right.
So I'll start with the one-on-one. Then we'll worry about the evil interpretation that you just came up with. You put me on the spot and I don't have an answer.
This is government. I have to think like they do. It's the only way we can stay a step ahead.
Keep your friends close, your enemies closer. It's really true.
So,
all right. It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. We're once again Jason Bradley, the king of Sting, the rock of pop, the Rick of Flair, the Roddy of Piper, the Suffering of Succotash, the master of disaster. The women love him, at least the ones over 80. The men want to be him. Sometimes. Gracing us with his words of wisdom that only he can. with the sign-off sermon. Community Solutions presents the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Bradley.
Thank you. You know, there's enough backhanded compliments in there that I'm not sure with the ones that were sincere were really all that
neither
sincere.
am I.
So, really, oh, that's fantastic. Oh, my goodness. Where do we start? This country's falling apart at the seams. Yeah. We have a government that is trying to... They've submitted the bills to make Washington, D.C. a state, to get rid of the Electoral College, to pack the courts, not only the upper courts, but also the lower courts. To get rid of the filibuster. All of this stuff that they said they wanted to do, they're working on. You know, and meanwhile, Davos met this last week, and the great things that came out of that, and we're researching that, and we're going to have that on a future episode here. But talking about stakeholder capitalism, and the stakeholders aren't you. They're not me. It's the businesses. It's these public-private partnerships where you have government and you have business partnering together. Government printing the money, making sure that those that are too big to fail can't fail, but making sure that the little guys, the small businesses, the independent businessmen, they do fail, that they're not able to keep their head above water. And the people with the money and the people with the connections get richer and they get stronger, and the people who have fewer connections, they just get poorer. They continue to struggle, and they continue to fight, and they continue to fall further in debt. Well, we've got to find a way to stop this from happening. But like we said today, and it happens at the local level, it happens at state, county, it happens at the federal level. Dumb laws continue to be made. Laws that you don't agree with and that you wish would just be gone. And it feels like sometimes we're slipping further behind, and we don't know how we're going to fix this. We don't know how we're going to change this. We don't know how we're going to help our future generations live in a land of liberty rather than in a land of oppression. Our children aren't going to know freedom the way that we knew it. Our grandchildren aren't going to know it the way that our children know it. Not if we don't do something. Not if we don't figure out a way to make a difference here and now and put a stop to this. Because all these crazy laws are going to come to pass because there's nothing stopping them. Whether it's in Washington, D.C. and they don't have the power to stop them, or whether it's at the local level and you just got people who don't seem to have a lot of interest in stopping them. And I don't understand when that's the case. When you got the votes to stop something and you don't, you know, Minnesota legislature, when you have the ability to stop a bonding bill from going through and you don't, you not only don't stop it, your powers of negotiation shave, 0.3 billion off of the governor's highest offer. I just don't understand. As people, it feels like we have no power. As people, it feels like nobody's listening. As people, it makes us disgusted. It makes us angry. It makes us want to stand up and shout. And that's where you get things like they had December 6th at the Capitol. Or January 6th at the Capitol. But we can't have that. We cannot devolve into those kinds of people. We cannot act like they act. We can't riot in the streets and burn things down and break into buildings and cause damage. That is not our way. But I understand it because we are left with so little to hold on to. It feels like everything's slipping through our fingers and there's so little that we can do. Now, I know I probably came off kind of cynical tonight, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. It's a little more cynical than I usually am. But, you know, I guess it can be hard in the face of all this. You know, for me, it's making sure that I stay thankful, making sure that my mind stays in the right place, making sure that I still pray for my leaders even if I don't agree with them, making sure that I don't support things that I disagree with, but that I still am a good citizen. But if I can get cynical, somebody else surely can go in and rush the Capitol building. Somebody who's maybe, you know, grounded differently than I am. We're all frustrated. You know, and I'm still not sure that thing back on January 6th, that wasn't instigated by people on the left anyways. You just had some people that got caught up in that should have known better. They all need to be punished for what they did. But we got to do better. You know, we have to be able to strategize and come up with ways to win. We got to think on a different level than they are thinking. We got to pray for wisdom and take what we get, what we hear from the Lord, and we need to run with it. You know, that voice inside that's telling us, oh, we need to start a homeschool pod, or we need to run for office, or we need to work in the local schools to get something done, or, you know, all of that. We need to stand up and we need to do it, because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. You get that because you're supposed to run with it, not because somebody else is. So it's time to take responsibility for that area of influence that we've been given, and take the wisdom we've been given and run with it to build something great. So what do we do? How do we move past the idea of, oh, there's a problem, into the place of fixing that problem? That's $1 million question, isn't it? How do we go from identifying a problem to fixing that problem? We got to quiet ourselves. We got to get away. We can't continue to surround ourselves all the time with noise and TV shows and internet and whatever we do to escape. Our escape needs to be a quiet place where we can just focus on what is bothering us. And we pray for wisdom. And then when we get it, we start to build. We be obedient, and we start to build. And that's how this got started. I mean, you've heard the origin story. Way back on episode 1, if you've gone back to episode 1, was our origin story. And I don't know that I went all the way back to the beginning and talked about how, well, I did, but I don't think I talked about how this was just kind of an idea that I got. I couldn't make sense of all the stuff that local government did. So I just felt inside of me, I needed to learn, and I needed to help other people learn. And that's what we did. And then we learned that all this stuff was going on all over the state. You know, and so we transitioned, and, you know, we replaced everybody on our city council, and then we have helped other cities to do the same thing. What's the idea you're getting? What's the problem you're trying to solve? What is the thing that keeps you up at night that's bothering you? There is an answer, and you have a part to play in it. Now, we'd love to help you with that. All you got to do is get a hold of us, COMM Solutions, MN@gmail.com.
That is COMM Solutions, mn@gmail.com, and we will help you as best as we can. Now, not that we're, these amazing, super smart people or whatever, but we've done pretty well for ourselves. And I believe that that's just kind of how we've been gifted. Some people are gifted one way, some people are gifted another way. I think we've been gifted to help. And so we would love to be, and we would be honored to be the people that help you start whatever it is in your community that you need to do to be able to take a stand and change it. So one thing you can do, if you really believe in the things that we're talking about, more freedom, less regulation, fewer taxes, more liberty, that equity and critical theory aren't the right way to go in this nation, that we're not a racist people, that our system isn't so fraught with racism that the whole system is rotten, then we're your people. And you need to pass this information along to other people that you know are like you, that are confused by what's going on around you, that are confused and angry and hurt and scared, because it's going to take a movement. It is going to take a movement for us to be able to rise up and start to be the ones who are governing instead of the ones being governed by people that we don't agree with. There's a peaceful way to do this, but it starts now. There are elections this year in 2021 that we need to start looking at. There are elections next year that we need to start looking at and getting ready for, and it takes time. You don't just jump in the summer before and expect to win. So pass the word. Share this, subscribe, like it, comment. Who knows, whatever these social media and companies are doing to be able to, with their algorithms, just do it all and something will hit. They keep changing the game to try and keep us down, but we will not be kept down. No, it's not going to happen to us. We will change this nation if we put our shoulder to the grindstone. It's true. So until next week, thank you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you for listening to this program. It's been awesome to just see more and more people come and catch what we're doing. And we're so thankful. We love you, Minnesota. But now it's your turn.